are now at round 3, which is the MooMan question. The MooMan question is chosen specifically by myself, and tonight's MooMan question is, to be the most underrated hero, one must overcome great odds but receive no credit. Please explain how more popular heroes would approach your candidate's trials and yet fail miserably. So, we're gonna start with Aquaman. How would other heroes approach Aquaman's problems and just straight up fail? 2 minutes, begin.
Aquaman at one point had to fight beings known as the Trench. They were in the deepest part of the ocean. So let's just walk you through a few scenarios here. We'll go with DC because that's the theme of the night. Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, defender of Earth and champion for our little piece of the galaxy, would fail miserably given that his weapon is based on will and concentration. And he's terrible at the latter, let's be honest. If he went into the depths of the ocean, he would get distracted, his protective bubble would shatter, and he would then be green jelly. Superman, he's a punch first, ask questions while punching sort of guy. He wouldn't think twice about diving into the ocean to beat the crap out of the Trench. However, given that the pressure would be somewhat akin to Kryptonian gravity and the lack of sunlight, Superman would most likely crumble like a little girl. Either that or falter because Lois Lane needs rescuing from a tidal wave somewhere. Batman. Rich billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne would be no match for the task either. He would spend weeks training, hardening his body, and getting together the necessary equipment for deep sea diving. Meanwhile, the Trench is just running rampant all over the world, and suddenly his currency is worth much less than the delicacy of sweet, sweet human flesh.
Let's hear it for the geeks! Short and sweet, like that sweet, sweet flesh. All right. Let us now go to Team Nerds.
John Carter's biggest accomplishment was actually uniting all the races and cultures of Mars under one banner of peace, saving everyone. This is like having Ukraine, Russia, Palestine, Israel, North Korea, South Korea, Pakistan, India, all together for a big slumber party and like wear sweet onesie pajamas that say BFF forever.
You want we should order pizza?
Yeah, it's a big thing. So how would more popular heroes, well, everyone's more popular than John Carter. So let's see, Nolan's Batman would start stringing people up by their ankles and yell at them, "Where's our Gargano?" But no one would understand him because no one speaks English. And Iron Man, a la Robert Downey, would probably set up a sweet bachelor pad in helium and bang all those sweet naked orange chicks. Well, I know, I would too. Wolverine wouldn't be able to light his stogie with the Barsoomian atmosphere, so it'd be like, fuck this, I'm outie. Hawkeye would see that there's no coffee and or pizza, and he'd be like, fuck this, I'm outie too. And the problem with Aquaman is he would not be able to unite all of Barsoom because he gives up. John Carter saved an entire planet, uniting its people and saving them from a planet-wide extinction. On top of that, he isn't given any credit for it, but he doesn't give a shit. Aquaman maybe would cry about it and wouldn't get the job done.
All right, ending on sweet, sweet tears, let's hear it for the nerds.
It's okay.
Sweet, sweet flesh on one side, sweet, sweet tears on the other. It is now time for round 4. Who would win in a fight? 2 minutes time, how would Aquaman beat up John Carter? Simple question, begin.
What makes John Carter strong on Mars would make Aquaman that much stronger. Aquaman goes to Mars to find John picking a fight with the Thrax, and he sees Aquaman in the distance and jumps toward him with a chain connected to a boulder. Aquaman shoots his harpoon gun arm at John, and it sticks in the chain, and John gets pulled down to the ground. Aquaman picks up John, punches him, sending him soaring hundreds of feet into a rock. John struggling to get up as Aquaman slowly pulls the water from John's body until he's dead from dehydration. On Mars, strength means everything, and the Thrax adopt Aquaman as their new hero.
There's more.
Okay, so let's just say for a minute here that John Carter is stupid enough to start a rumble with Aquaman on Earth. He might as well be John Doe for all the impact he'll have on the fight. Aquaman can and has stood toe-to-toe with Superman before, even going so far as to telepathically control him. John Carter would be a non-issue. Aquaman would merely exercise his super strength and beat him into John Tartar sauce.
Last but not least, John Carter decides to bring his squirrel to Aquaman's home turf, the ocean. Come on now, folks. Aquaman's a busy guy. He's got 70% of the Earth to fend, his annual battle with Cthulhu to gear up for. I'm pretty sure he would drop in to see what the hubbub was about, find John Carter trying to start some shit, cock an eyebrow, use some of his famous telepathy to nudge some underwater life. A 20-foot great white explodes from the water at 50 kilometers an hour in an awesome Polaris breach, chomping down on the Civil War vet, taking care of the pest for the King of Atlantis while he just swims away. No muss, no fuss. 3 scenarios, 3 John Carter curb stomps.
All right. Let's hear it for the geeks.
You know what? You're not going to get any argument from me, you know? Based on the stats on the back of his baseball card, absolutely, hands down. Aquaman's got more superpowers. He's stronger. He's incredibly strong on Earth already. So you put him on Barsoom, by the logic of the John Carter series, he's going to get exponentially stronger. So, yeah, you're right. He is going to win in that hand-to-hand fight. But you know what's going to happen? In those closing seconds, as Aquaman has his heel on John Carter's neck and a trident pointed at his face, out of nowhere, a time bubble appears. And from it steps the one and only Booster Gold.
Booster fucking Gold.
Saw it coming?
Also known as Michael John Carter. And he will very quickly explain, Arthur, no, don't. You can't. I've run the numbers, okay? If you kill John Carter, you will be endangering not only our universe's time stream, but every universe's time stream, okay? No Superman, no Aquaman, no Batman, no Justice League, no Spider-Man, no Martian Manhunter, no Star Wars, no Firefly. Science fiction fantasy wouldn't exist.
All right, before we get to nitpicking, we have to close it. So, let's hear it for the nerds and the random time bubble. All right, so we're almost at the end, but now it is time for 5 minutes of complete open debate. No more time to wait for turns.
Yep.
Say whatever is on your mind. So here we go. 5 minutes. Starting
Okay.
now.
Can I tell you a story?
Superman was first
Can I
introduced
tell you
in
a
Action
story?
Comics #1
Can
in
I
June
tell you a
1938.
story?
Lex
It's
Luthor
about
was introduced
history.
in Action Comics
Okay, guys, don't talk over each
I'm
other.
asking very nicely. Can I tell you a story?
Tara, start. Amanda, you'll get next.
Okay. I'm really underrated as a debater. I'm
right,
the John
right.
Carter of this debate.
Okay, I get it. Tara, make your point.
Okay, so what we're getting at, since our other team won't let us talk, is that it was 26 years before Aquaman's villain was introduced, as opposed to like 6 months compared to everyone else.
All right, going over this side.
Okay, so John Carter is 100 years old, the whole property, and he was going to start out. He was the books first, and he was going to be a really awesome comic, like Tarzan, the newspapers. He was going to be picked up across the United States and Canada on December 7th, 1941. Does anyone know what day that was? It's Pearl Harbor. So needless to say, not many newspapers opted to pick up John Carter and thus turned John Carter, who is going to be more popular than Tarzan, more popular than maybe even Superman, into nothing.
The Aquaman and Friends Action Hour is a sweet-ass cartoon that aired for 7 whole episodes on Cartoon Network, Latin America. It was a parody show. That's right, a parody show that he featured in because the Justice League was airing in America. So essentially DC was like, you know what? We don't need Aquaman. You guys can take him. But then it was canceled after 7 episodes, so who freaking cares?
Hey, Mike, how many cartoons have Aquaman appeared in? Can you count them on all your fingers?
Yeah.
Probably
I don't
not.
know. There's probably, Super Friends has more than one incarnation, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh, and the Brave
Aquaman
and the
being on
Bold.
all of them,
So I
right?
So
think we're
cool.
getting
Brave and the Bold. He's on Smallville.
How many cartoons has John Carter appeared in?
I feel like our opponents are getting a little bit confused again here, so I'm just going to help them out a bit here. I'm going to read the Webster Dictionary definition
God,
of
please
underrated.
don't. Please
To
don't.
underestimate the extent, value, or importance
Guys,
of someone or something.
hey! We are nerds. We get definitions. Go on.
So it's who is
can I
the
just
most
say how
underrated hero, not who is the most
Okay.
unknown. Aquaman is
Amanda-
underrated because a lot of people know them but do not have the respect for him. John Carter is revered. He is on a pedestal in the nerd community.
Whom?
Who knows about him?
I'm sorry. Are you kidding? Everybody.
So if everyone loves him, then people would dress up like him and want to go to his movies.
Yeah.
And like,
You were at ECCC, right?
Yeah.
How many John Carter costumes?
I thought one, but he was really a really skinny Conan the Barbarian, so 0.
Okay.
And there was actually 14 Aquaman plus a Black Manta plus one who spent an innumerable amount on his costume and was in the actual costume contest. He did a sweet trident.
And you saw 2 mermans,
And I
right?
saw
Like
two
a
mer-
SpongeBob
like
character
SpongeBob
based off of
based
Aquaman.
on Aquaman.
All right.
So,
Yes,
yeah.
mocked.
All right, going back.
mocked.
I don't know. I think Merman's pretty awesome. Who
Yeah,
else is
I
with
like
me?
that.
Merman's the
Barnacle
best part of
Boy.
SpongeBob,
Yes.
right?
Barnacle
Merman.
Boy was the
We
shit.
wholeheartedly agree that Aquaman is awesome, but that doesn't diminish the fact that he is constantly made
He's
fun of.
expensive. That's why they don't make more things that are live action. It cost $7 million to produce that stupid, somewhat comparable to Smallville series that actually was picked up by YTV, I will say. People just decided to not do it. It's better than being screwed over by all of Hollywood because they're so threatened by how great you can be. They need to convince the entire consciousness of science fiction fantasy geeks that he's not worth their time.
All right, that is the end. Give it up for both the geeks and the nerds. Or should I say the get on with it or talk over each other round?
Yes.
Get on with it. I am going to get on with it because we are at the end of the debate, but it's time for the final words before you render your judgment. In the interest of fairness, we are switching the order for the final words. So, final word first from the nerds and John Carter.
Okay. Ray Bradbury, James Cameron, Carl Sagan, Jerry Siegel, Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, these men have all admitted to using John Carter novels and comics as their inspiration, but saying nothing about it until now. Yet the general population has never heard of John Carter, save for a horribly mismanaged Disney movie. John Carter is the original sci-fi superhero, one that saved the entire planet from extinction, but one who will never receive proper credit. This truly makes him under-fucking-rated.
Ask a layman on the street what they know about Aquaman, and they'll most likely say, doesn't he just talk to fish? Which means, despite the efforts made by Jeff Johns in the New 52, despite some of the most epic sequences in Injustice, and despite the fact that he defends 148 million square miles of the Earth by himself, the damage has been done, not only by Hollywood, but by his own publisher, DC. They have constantly and continually underestimated the value and importance of Aquaman, and those feelings have trickled down and now pervade nerd and pop culture alike, which truly make Aquaman the most underrated hero.
Do we hear it for the nerds and John Carter?
Who likes Mars bars?
I think you just nailed that guy in the face with a fun-sized candy bar.
And you better vote for us.
It's not fun size anymore. Or do we hear it for the geeks and Aquaman?
I'm not giving you any Mars bars.
Looks like he's not very underrated in this crowd.
We love Roy, boy. All right, so as Lord High MooMan, I hereby declare the most underrated hero to be
John Carter.
Aquaman. Thank you for coming to West Coast Geeks, listeners. Please stay tuned for the next show.
Oh my, hello. It's the Lord High MooMan here. Thank you for checking out our video of who is the most underrated hero. Did you guys think that Aquaman was the most underrated, or John Carter, or who do you think is the most underrated? Let us know in the comments. Do you think that now Aquaman has the title of most underrated? He's no longer underrated, thus making John Carter underrated? It's an endless cycle. Let us know in the comments. And make sure to do all the standard YouTube stuff. Like the video if you like it, share the video if you want to share it, and subscribe for a lot more crazy debates coming up in the future. We got some good stuff. And remember to also check out our Patreon if you want to, help us out to do more fun, crazy stuff like this in the future. I'm out. Goodbye.